bioluminescent algae that appears pinkish red in the day and glows blue when disturbed has appeared across Tasmania's southeastern coastline. It is pretty and it makes for great photos on social media. But there is a dark side to this glowing algae. It could be fatal for other sea life. Now, Dr. Lisa Ann Gershwin is a biologist and world-leading expert on jellyfish, and she joins us now. Dr. Gershwin, thank you for your time. Can you tell us about this algae that has appeared on Tassie's southeast coastline? How did it get there and what does it look like?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. We are seeing an epic world-class bloom of the bioluminescent algae right now. The species is called Noctiluca scintillans. Most beautiful name, Nocta, night, Luca, light, scintillans, scintillating or sparkling or glittering. So it's this beautiful, dreamy thing, but it's bad news for the organisms that live there. So it's an introduced marine pest, and it does three damaging things to the ecosystem. It eats the eggs and larvae and food for the eggs and larvae that are there. So it cuts off the food chain at the ankles, basically. It strips the oxygen out of the water, so it suffocates everything living there. And it exudes ammonia into the water that's caustic. It burns the gills and sensitive tissues of fish and invertebrates. So it's quite damaging, but it's an absolute amazing spectacle for we humans who, want to see something very special. The fact that it's coinciding with the fireworks in the sky and the fireworks in the sea, well, that's just amazing.
And I mean, in terms of the damage it causes, and you spelled it out there, but plankton, I mean, that is extremely important, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. So plankton is it's the whole base of the entire food chain of everything. And it gives us 2 out of every 3 breaths of oxygen. So if you like oxygen, if you like breathing, then you'll like plankton. So yeah, and Noctiluca, it's so widespread right now. It's just gobsmacking. It's right through Storm Bay, which is this giant bay with Hobart kind of at the top there. So it's right through north, south, east, and west, and halfway up the east coast of Tasmania. Like, it's just this epic bloom, and the amount of Noctiluca that we're seeing, it's just, you just can't believe it until you see it. And so during the day, it forms these pink slicks. It's a red tide organism. And at night, it bioluminesces the most beautiful blue. And so you stand on the shore and you look out, and as far as you can see out into the sea, it's blue. And the little waves that are washing up on the shore, the little arcs of water, just have this arc of blue light. They're just mesmerizing.
So is physically removing it an option, and what can be done to address this algae? Because as pretty as it is, you don't want it there in that capacity.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So unfortunately, there is nothing that can be done. We're stuck with it. So what happens when we look around the world at the trajectory that disturbed ecosystems take? They inevitably flip to what we could call a simplified ecosystem. And in these simplified ecosystems, the jellyfish are the top predator, and jellyfish rotate in abundance with other things called salps, which are these weird jellyfish-like organisms that are actually more closely related to us than to jellyfish. Strange. And these flagellates, and Noctiluca scintillans is one of these flagellates. And so we see these 3 things, the salps, the flagellates, and jellyfish, rotating around in these blooms. One leads to another in these cascades. And so I don't know right now if, because we're having this cascade, we had epic bloom of salps just weeks ago. We're now having an epic bloom of Noctiluca, and the jellyfish are already building, and that's going to be bad, bad news for, you know, the organisms that live there, particularly the ones that can't get away, like caged salmon. They can't get away. They're in a cage. You know, oysters and mussels that are stuck there, they can't get away. So, you know, we're really seeing an incredibly damaging series of events that are happening to our ecosystem right now.